first day in basic training, yes, that's when they drop you off on a bus, and of course the TIs are coming out yelling at everybody. Everybody's got their long hair and everything, and or they make you all line up, and they assign you whatever names, give you everybody take roll call and everything, and then after that they'll eventually take you and get your hair cut. Cut it all off.
Okay. Tell me about your boot camp and training experiences.
That's pretty much it. The first when they go and cut your hair, and then everybody shows up in different clothes, and they're gonna issue uniforms. And everybody's gonna wear the same uniform. The whole thing, basically, basic training was really so they can issue uniforms. There's a lot of individuals, and they try to break down the individualism and make one team. But start by dressing everybody the same, or same haircut and everything, and make a team. So that's what basic training is really like.
So, how did you get through it? Was there ever like tough times that you just wanted to quit?
No, not really. It wasn't all that bad. Because you're young enough when you go in there, you can do all the physical stuff they give you is easy. You can do all the marching and the running and all that kind of stuff. That was pretty easy. Cause the time I went in, I was 21. I was already 3 years older than the average 18-year-old. So still had no problem with it. You just got to be able to. They're going to be throwing a lot of stuff at you, and they're trying to see who's going to break down. If you can separate what task you've been given from everything else, you'll make it. But see, the TIs are going to try to throw stuff at you. They're going to yell at you to see if it bothers you. And if it bothers you, they'll know it. If it don't bother you, you just continue doing what you're doing because they're going to move on to the next guy. Eventually, they'll find people they can break down. If you can survive the first few days and you show them and nothing bothers you, they move on to somebody else.
Did you remember arriving and what was it like?
The what?
Did you remember arriving to these places?
Well, every time you go to a different location, it's going to be different. I remember first getting into Saudi Arabia. It was hot. I mean, Kuwait's hot. All these places, you go in there, as soon as you get off the airplane, the heat just hits you. So yeah, it makes a very memorable arrival. Other places like you go to Iceland, you come out of the aircraft, and there's just nothing but snow and ice all over the place. So that because we were there during the winter time, we're in Saudi Arabia, we were there during summertime. But most of the time, as soon as we arrive somewhere, they're going to bring everybody into one big facility, and they're going to start briefing people. This is what's going on here. This is the mission. This is what to stay away from. This is what to watch out for. The snakes, the spiders, that kind of stuff. The camel spiders. Stay away from this. That kind of thing. On certain places, do not get off the pavement because there could be, all kind of mines on the side of the roads. So that kind of stuff. That's the stuff that warn you. So once you get that warning and everything else, that's when you realize, hey, you're not in Kansas anymore.
Okay. What was your job?
My job in the Air Force, I was a crew member on the C-130. Actually, it started off as a crew member on the presidential support. We used to fly around a 747 modified for military use. That was the presidential support aircraft. So when he was flying on Air Force One before it had 747, we would give him the circus. Everywhere he went, this airplane would stay close by to give him the circus. We were kind of like the guy holding the transmitter or the relay for the president holding the phone.
Yeah.
We were the booster. It would go there, then it would go everywhere else. That's what we did. But in case of an emergency, he would just jump on our airplane and take over. That's what the purpose of that airplane was. It was the National Emergency Airborne Command Post. Okay, so that he could take over from there. And so if you fly around, it would be a hard target to hit. I did that for 5.5 years. Then I went to combat search and rescue, where we go and rescue down airplanes or boats that capsize or whatever. We would do that. Did that for 4 years. Then went to a weapons school in Little Rock and did that for 2.5 years, teaching weapons, tactics. And then from there I went to AFSOC. I went to Eglin Air Force Base for 2 years, and then from there I went to Herbert Field for another 3, all part of the same AFSOC. And when I was a crew member in Eglin, and then I went to XP at Herbert Field. And there I was working as staff. I would coordinate communications and frequencies and that kind of stuff with Joint Special Operations Command out of Fort Bragg. Okay, we kind of like, they were kind of our boss at that point. Then later on, after my 5 and a half years there, I got recruited to go up to Fort Bragg and work over there for JSOC. So I did that for 4.5 years, and then I retired. That will be at 22 years and 7 months. I retired from there, and then from there, once I retired, I was retired in Bay. I got called in June for an interview, so I went the interview, and then in July, I was hired. So 2 months after I retired, I was hired as a contractor, and then I deployed in August.